The next part I'm going to show you about how I did the 2 tags. On every paper bag you notice that I always put 2 tags, and this is the one that I got from Blue Moon Scrapbooking. It's a really nice big tag. I really like it. It's about 2 3/8 versus times 4 7/8. 4 3/4 of an inch. So it's really nice and big, and because I only have very few left from Blue Moon Scrapbooking, it costs a bomb to bring it here. You can do this as well just on normal cardstock. So I'm just doing one on a smaller tag, one on normal cardstock, just to show you that you can do this on any kind of paper that you like. Of course, something preferably not too thin, slightly thicker. And what I'm doing is that I am mixing an acrylic paint of my choice, and this one I'm using Worn Penny, and then I'm mixing it with this fantastic medium, which is it's all gooey stuff. Fantastic medium, Faux glazing medium. If you have not played with this, or if you like painting with acrylic paints, you need to get this Faux glazing medium. And what it does is, and I'm just going to wet my sponge, my brush, sorry. Wet my sponge and add water into it. And what it does is that the Faux glazing medium makes your acrylic paints very nice and translucent. So the more Faux glazing medium you put inside, the more translucent the color becomes. Or the more water you put inside, the more translucent the color becomes. And as you can see, it's really nice and watery. So it's something like, it looks like you have actually glimmer misted it. Yeah. So really nice. See, it's very nice and watery. And I'll let that dry, and maybe if I want, I can go again on it with another color. So I heat set this tag, and I probably just put a little bit too much of acrylic paint. I just need very little for my tag. So I put it on the other side. I add again Faux glazing medium, because what I want to do is that I want to have not only one color, but some multicolors on it. And because of the Faux glazing medium, it mixes the acrylic paints really nicely, as you will see once I'm done. So I want to have just a little bit goldish tint to my tag. So I'm just going again, and as you can see, the gold color does not override on the copper, on my first copper color. If I did not put a Faux glazing medium, you will basically see streaks of gold. And then what I can do is I take just a cotton bud, it's a facial cotton bud, and I can go over it. And as though like you're using this as a distress ink, and you're going over your tag, just do the same circular motion as you're doing it to this tag, but instead of distress ink, you're using acrylic paints. And then in this case here, you will have a very nice, washed out look. And because of the gold, it has a very nice sparkle to it. So you can go through many layers as you like, and with different colors, and if it all mixed together. So let me try this. You know how in distress inks we always have like one color is, one side of the tag is one color and another side of the tag is another color? So I'm going to do that as well. So I just want this part here to be a bit more copperish. So you can do that. Okay. So just keep adding until you're happy with the result. And then here I just want a little bit more goldish. Okay. And then sometimes if you add too many layers, your tag becomes a little bit wet. So what you do, you heat set it, and then again go on with another color if you're not happy with the result. So I'm going to heat set this. For the next tag, I'm using this deep burgundy acrylic paint, and I've already put in Faux glazing. I'm going just to add some water because I really want it to be watered down. And let me try. Okay, because I really want it to be really light. And now I'm just painting on just a normal cardstock. And it's really up to you whether you want to paint with your paintbrush first or just go over immediately with the cotton facial, the facial cotton which I showed you earlier. Is totally up to you. And the different, okay, and you can see like where there's white strokes here is probably because I think there's some glue streaks that when I glued two cardstock together, some of the glue got on the paper, and that's why it's sort of resisting the paint. So I'm going to dry this and I'll be back. Next, I'm going to go over my paint with some of the gold acrylics and then just go in a nice circular motion as if this was some distress inks and go over it. So as you can see, the gold is also very watered down, so it's not overriding the very light red in the background. So it looks like the tag is a red tag with some gold hint. Okay. And I'm thinking, I'm still not that happy. This wasn't really the color I was going for, and I think I wanted it just to be a little bit more reddish. So instead, I'm going to add some copper. Yikes. Okay. It's really hard to control this. Some copper to some of the red paint left over. Okay, take this copper out of the way. So I'm mixing it, add some glazing medium. And if you really want it shimmery, you can even add this pearlizing medium as well, and it gives a very nice silvery shimmer. I'm just putting just a little bit of it, just like one tiny wincy dot, because the copper color is already a very nice shimmer, so I don't really need that much shimmer. So it's a little bit dark. Let me add some water. So this is really fun because of Faux glazing. You can actually, if you don't like how the color turned out, you want it darker, you want it lighter, just keep on mixing it and add Faux glazing medium. And Faux glazing medium would turn your acrylic paint to be more translucent. And okay, now I'm beginning to like the tone that's coming out. Yeah. Yummy. Okay, so if you want to be darker, keep adding more. And then I'm going to go one more time over with the gold. Probably just a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to dry this. This is the finished look of the painted tag, and it looks like I have went over with maybe some distress inks and probably put some perfect pearls all over it because of the shimmers. And the shimmers comes from the acrylic paints. As you can see, Faux glazing plus the pearlizing medium really just explode the options that you can do with acrylic paints now. So you can turn your acrylic paints to like some distressed dye or glimmer mist effect. Okay, really fun. So I'm using this my background to my stamp, and I'm going to do some stamping now. Same thing now when it comes to embossing. After seeing Cynthia Luhu's tutorial plus Joe's paper drama tutorial, I never see my magical Micas ever the same again. So this is mica powder. This is not embossing powder from Lindy's Stamp Gang, and this is Pearl X. Pearl X, and I probably need about 2 perfect pearls. Right, and I can turn all these colors into embossing powders. And because micas are also relatively cheaper than embossing powder, and what I do is I have these empty containers, and in this case here I have mixed, and I'm going to make more of this embossing powder so you can see. So I'm just going to add it. Just put as much clear embossing powder that you like, and I'm going to mix this embossing powder with some Pearl X Super Russet. I'm just going to take a little bit. If you want darker, put more. If you want lighter, put less. So it's like you're a cook. You know, you want more saltier, put more salt. You want less saltier, put less salt. It's always the same concept. And say, okay, this is about the tone of color that I like, and I'm going to use this color. And you know, instead of, and you know, like how Lindy Stem Gang has like 2-tone embossing powder. Well, you can make up to like whatever 6, 7, 8 tones if you want. If I want this to have a little bit more super russet, but want gold shimmers, I would just add some gold micas inside there, or gold pearlettes. Whatever that you have. You know, my motto for this year is just use whatever that you have. The next fun part is doing the stamping, and I'm basically just stamping this one I'm using from Inkadinkado. I think it's Flowers and Flourishes, and I'm placing my stem, let's say somewhere here. And in this case, I am using Byzantine bronze embossing powder for this tag because I really like the tone and tone look. As you can see, like my background is a little bit bronzy, coppery, or some metallic metal color. And I'll try to find a similar color of embossing powder to it because the tone and tone look is always very nice. And I'm going to heat set this. This is the result of the tone on tone look. I always like this tone on tone kind of stamping or embossing, even though they're similar colors, but somehow the image just really stands out. In future, I probably would put my stem just a little bit lower because I don't like this gap here, and probably then the leaves will look like it will be coming out from the edge here, but at least there's no gap here. So that's probably what I've done in future. For the next red tag, what I'm doing is I'm taking this butterfly from this darkroom door, and I've showed these stems in several of my videos. And then, okay, before I do the stem, I'm going to do some flourishes. And this one, I'm not going to do any embossing. I'm just going to take my Brilliance Chocolate, one of my favorite colors by Suki Nico. I think you've also seen me using this pretty much. And I use this a lot, so I think a lot of the ink is pretty run dry, so I really need to stamp it nice, wet and juicy. And then, okay, I'm gonna have one stamp here. And I'm going to stamp one more time. Ink it, and I'm just going to use the top part, so I'm just only inking the top. And I think I will use my foam pad because I want to make sure I get a really nice stamp image. And here. For the next one, I'm going to use this butterfly from Darkroom Door, and I've showed this stem set many times. I've used it quite a lot, and I'm going to do some embossing on this. So I'm just inking my stem really nice and juicy with Versamark, and get ready my super russet embossing powder, which I showed you earlier that I made. And okay, and I'm probably stamp it. I'm going to make it look like it's flying in midair. So I'm going to make it diagonally like this. Get some scratch paper and pour your homemade embossing powder over the image. So, okay, one of the setbacks with making your home embossing powder is because you don't have a lot of it. It really depends on how much embossing powder you put. So sometimes you have to pour like a few times just to cover your image. Okay, check to make sure all is pretty covered. This is the final finish of the 2 tags painted with acrylic paints for the background, and then tone on tone embossing. And you see all the shimmers. This is what I really like about this technique, because everything is so shimmery and glittery and glamorous. Okay, so let's move on to the next part of my text.
You tucked me